So, comrades, I've just come back from the BMA annual conference, which was in Liverpool at the beginning of the week. I've told you a bit about it in the weeks running up to it. We had great success. 5 out of 5 pro-Palestine motions were passed by big majorities. And I'm briefly going to run through them very quickly just to tell you what they were about, just so you get a sense. First one, the BMA has now official policy which is against Palantir. Palantir, for those who don't know, is that dreadful military surveillance and technology company in bed with the American military, the IOF, and surveillance everywhere. For some unknown reason, well, we know the reason actually, they've been given a £330 million contract by the NHS to run what? Our data. To keep our data. All of our data they will have. So the BMA is against it now, and it's a big, big boost for the campaign to block this and to kick them out of the NHS.
Yes!
Number 2 was a simple motion which just said, this meeting believes that criticism of the actions of the State of Israel is not anti-Semitic. I mean,
finally!
Kind of ABC for all of us here, right?
Finally!
But you've got to remember who the audience we were dealing with. Conservative doctors who have been gaslighted, threatened, bribed and intimidated by the Zionists into believing that and keeping quiet. Overwhelming majority in favor of that. So they cannot any longer within the BMA make complaints against people who criticize Israel for what it's doing in Gaza.
Yes!
The next one was a motion by the medical students which condemned the victimization of students and healthcare workers advocating for Palestine within medical school and the workplace, to systematically differentiate rightful advocacy for Palestine, and this is not equating to anti-Semitism, and to also demand the reversal of any punitive measures that have been taken place against students.
Yes!
So that was very good. Number 4 was a really good motion by our Scottish colleagues, which the meeting condemned in the strongest terms the systematic destruction of hospitals in Gaza, and the killing of over 1,000, it's now nearly 1,600 healthcare workers in Gaza since October 7th. As grave international breaches of international law.
Yes.
2, demands the unconditional and immediate release of all arbitrarily detained healthcare workers in Israel.
Yes!
3, unimpeded access for medical and humanitarian relief. 4, holding into account any medical professionals who have participated or facilitated the torture of prisoners in Israel. Again, that's policy now, which is really good. And the last one, which is probably the best one, stated that the meeting condemns the silence of the Israeli Medical Association on the deaths in detention, the arbitrary detention and targeting of Palestinian healthcare workers, and the destruction of the health service in Gaza.
Yes.
Wonderful.
The action points were to reaffirm our condemnation of this, to call on the WMA to condemn it, and the best one of all, to suspend engagement with the IMA, Israeli Medical Association. This is the BMA, right? To suspend all engagement with them until they condemn what's going on in Gaza. This, comrades, is really important because for the first time we have had a call by a major health institution in this country calling out their counterparts in Israel as being complicit in what's going on and saying we're going to end our association with them until they change their tune. And then lastly, what was very noticeable, that all of those motions were passed by overwhelming majorities, 80% plus. It wasn't kind of 60-40 or something like that. Number two, the weakness of the pro-Zionist, pro-Israel arguments, honestly, it was pathetic. I almost felt sorry for them, but I didn't quite get to that point. And thirdly, of course, once again, we had the Jewish Medical Association, which should be renamed the Zionist Medical Association, or adopt its previous name, which was the British chapter of the Israeli Medical Association. They spoke the same nonsense about all the motions on Gaza, and there were over 50 of them, creating an intimidating and hostile and unwelcoming environment for all the Jewish delegates. Well, here was at least one delegate that was very warmly welcomed by all those motions, I can tell you. And there was a very good Jewish medical student who's an anti-Zionist as well, who spoke very well at the conference. So comrades, it was a great success, a really good start. Obviously, implementation of these policies is going to be absolutely key. A number of us are standing for committees to take this work forward within the BMA, but everybody's delighted who was there.
Woo!